Greetings. This is the Apetavi Ielosha Oshunyemi Akalatunde, and you are watching Got to Be Oshun television. This is the space where I give Black women and femmes the spiritual tools that they need to stop mammying and stop muling and use their inherent power to fulfill their destinies. So today we are going to talk about citing Black women, specifically citing me. I so often, this happens so often that I sometimes avoid reading people's books. I sometimes avoid looking at people's channels. Sometimes I will unfollow people on social media because it happens so often that people have taken my class or people have been my client, and my talking points become their personality. Something that I taught them becomes their personality. And I am not cited. They do not say, as the Elosha said, as she said, as Got to Be Oshun said. This just becomes their personality. First, I want to talk about the danger in this. The danger in this is that anything that I put out into the world is protected. First and foremost, it's protected by my ancestral mothers. Secondly, it's protected by Ogun. Third, anything that I've written is copywritten and is copyrighted and protected in that way. So those are some of the dangers. Fourth, you are not going to be able to replicate what is required to uphold this talking point that you're putting out into the world. You don't have what it takes to replicate what's required to uphold that. You don't know the background of it. It's something that you heard me say that sounded good, and now you are regurgitating it. Sorry, guys. Y'all know I ain't even got to explain about Atlanta streets. Now you are regurgitating it in hopes of creating some sort of fame for yourself, creating a name for yourself, or being believed to be something that you are not, which is me. You ain't me. So that is the first part. The second part is that the reason that people do not cite Black women is because you are still seeing us as commodities. You look at me and see me as a tool to use to get to where you're trying to be, as opposed to seeing me as a scholar. You're not looking at me and seeing a scholar. As much as people say they hate Freud, if they are repeating something Freud says, they're going to cite him because they believe that it makes them seem smart and intelligent and well-read to cite Freud. You see me as a commodity and not as a scholar, so you don't bother to cite me because you believe any words that come out of her mouth are mine to use anyway. She is a commodity. She's not a scholar. You don't acknowledge the decades of scholarship that go into everything that I say. You don't acknowledge the decades of lived experience that are the foundation of the scholarship that is behind anything that I say and anything that I do. And so when you don't cite a Black woman, me in particular, what you are saying You are not a scholar. You are a commodity, and I can use you as I please. Right? You're like this car. You're like this bonnet. You're a thing to be used. Now, if you yourself are a black woman, femme, or a black woman, and you are using another black woman as a commodity, you are in that act identifying yourself as a commodity. And you are adding to the belief that we as black women are less than human, because you too are acting like black women are less than human, right? That's what's happening. When you just use a black woman and you just use her words and you just use her teachings, your actions are saying black women are not fully human. We don't have to treat them as human. When you see a black woman who is a scholar, and you know by how she speaks and the works that she cites and the things that she puts you onto, that she has taken years of scholarship to learn these things, and you don't take the time to treat her as a scholar, you instead choose to treat her as a thing to be used, then what you're saying is black women cannot be scholars. And so that means that your own scholarship is not going to be appreciated, and it's not going to be validated. People are not going to take you seriously as a scholar when you do that to other scholars. So, if I have taught you, if you are blessed to have been taught by me, cite me. Cite me. When you say, these are the words of this person, I'm a scholar. That lets people know you are scholarly. These are the words that this particular person said. This is the idea that I got from this particular person. My expectation as a teacher and as an educator is that whoever I'm giving my information to is going to take my information and go further. That is my expectation. I'm not expecting you to take it and stay where I stay with it. I'm expecting you to take it and move forward. But by the same token, I'm expecting you to acknowledge this is where that came from, right? Acknowledge this is where that came from. Do not pretend it's a revelation that came out of the sky. It is something I came up with on my own. That's an act of colonization. That's what you're doing. It's the same as when Christopher Columbus lied and said he discovered America and people were already here. That is the same thing that you're doing to my words and to my ideas. You're saying, I came up with this when this idea was actually given to you by someone else. This is another method of not taking our ways of learning and our ways of doing things seriously. This is the same type of thought process that uses and abuses Earth Mother Onile and women and femmes in general. It's literally the same thought process. You're not doing you're not doing anything different than pillaging and literally violating. It's literally the same thing. You are violating a person when you use their words and you commodify them and commodify their thought process and you do not cite it. That is a violation, right? I don't care whether or not it's plagiarism, but it is a violation. It's a violation. And that's how it's experienced. That's how it's experienced. Why would they not tell people where they got this thought from? Why would they not tell people where this particular vein of thinking came from? Why would they then turn around and take personal ownership of my words and my thoughts? Cite black women, cite black femmes, in particular, cite me. Quit doing that. What I can tell you about myself is that I don't have any problem becoming a hermit. So you may at this time find yourself having access to me, but if people continue not to cite me, I don't have any problem becoming a hermit. I don't have any problem doing that and creating a space where nobody has access, right? So when I say cite me, it is my attempt to not decide to become a hermit as far as giving my wisdom is concerned. I'm not going to be invisible. But as far as my wisdom being given is concerned, yeah, that can become another thing. That can become another thing. If you get something from me, cite me. If you are inspired, say that you are inspired. If your brain has been open to new ways of thinking, say, wow, I had never thought about it this way until I saw this, until I heard this, until I was taught this. Whenever I'm speaking, you're hearing the names of my teachers. You're hearing the names of the authors of the books that I've read. You're hearing the spaces and the places that inspired me to go where I'm going with what it is that I'm saying. Do the same for me each and every time. Yes, the whole thing. Yes, every time. All right, guys. Share the video, like the video. If you want to participate in the members only New African Vodun Black Witchcraft classes, then please become a member. The membership link is in the description box. And I will see you guys in the next one. Ecstasy, abundance, and bliss. To everyone within the sound of my voice who is wishing the same for me and mine. And we wish the lessons of life on those who are ignorant